Hello class. This week we will be working on a compare and contrast paper. You may have heard the saying, it's like apples and oranges. And that saying generally means that you can't hardly compare them. They're like totally different things. But even when you consider apples and oranges, there are some things the same. They are both fruit, they both grow on trees, and they both give juice. You can see here that they used a sort of Venn diagram with two circles that overlap in the middle, and where they overlap is where the common things are listed. And this is a traditional way of doing compare and contrast kind of organization. However, today we're going to organize our ideas for our compare and contrast paper a little bit differently. There are two ways that we will be organizing our compare and contrast. Both of those ways, however, start with the same type of introductory paragraph. This is a normal introductory paragraph, has a topic sentence, detailed sentence or two stating the subjects being compared and contrasted, and a thesis or a conclusion, clever conclusion sentence stating the overarching idea. Okay, so the introductory paragraph, no matter which organization way we choose, is the same. The first way to organize our ideas when writing a compare and contrast paper is point by point pattern. In a point by point pattern, after the introductory paragraph, your paragraph number 1 has a topic or idea. So you have something you're comparing, like apples and oranges. And then you're going to compare something about those, okay? Maybe about the climate. So subject 1 would be the positives and negatives about the climate where apples are grown. And that paragraph would also tell us the positive and negatives about where the oranges are grown. And that is dealing with the same topic of climate. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, for example, comparing and contrasting cats and dogs as pets. Here's our little kitty and our little dog. And we're going to compare these two indoor cats and dogs as pets. Paragraph 1, we're going to have to come up with a topic that concerns cats and dogs. Let's figure bathroom training. Okay? If we look at the first one, cats, and we think about the positives and negatives about bathroom training a cat. So those are what our sentences are going to be. There may be one sentence about the positives and one sentence about the negatives of bathroom training, or you may have two positives about bathroom training a indoor cat and one negative. So you would state that cats don't really need trained. Cats instinctively go to a litter box. Those would be maybe two sentences. Then you'd also have a sentence about how litter boxes stink and you have to clean them out. And so those might be your negatives, okay, about bathroom training a cat. And in that same paragraph, you're going to go on and say, likewise, you will need to bathroom train your dog. And some hurdles to bathroom training a dog are that they will need let out. On the positive end of bathroom training an indoor dog, they do go outside to go to the bathroom, and you don't have to handle it or do anything with it as you do with a litter box. So you can see there, you're going to have several sentences about the positives and the negatives of that topic, bathroom training, concerning the comparing and contrasting dogs. Okay, so you could have 2 or 4 or 6 sentences about cats, and also 2 or 4 or 6 sentences about dogs, and that would all be in one paragraph about bathroom training. Then you would go on to do paragraph number 2, and paragraph number 3, and these will be done in the same way with just a new topic. So maybe the paragraph 2 would be all about cleanliness and how clean dogs or cats are, and you would give the positives and negatives to that. Maybe you would want to talk about the personality of dogs as an indoor pet and cats as an indoor pet. And you could give some of the positives and negatives of both of those in a paragraph about personality. So you're comparing and contrasting cats and dogs, but each individual paragraph has its own theme. Okay? All right. If we go on to the second way to organize a compare and contrast paper, again, the introduction is the same. It's normal, topic sentence, detailed sentence, or 2 stating the subjects being compared and contrasting, and a thesis or conclusion sentence stating what the overarching idea is. Okay, and in the last one, the overarching idea may have been which pet best suits you. Okay, so this way is called a block pattern, and in a way, I sort of feel like it almost looks like blocks. Paragraph 1. We have the first subject, and we're going to tell all the positives of the first subject and all the negatives of the first subject. Okay, these are the subjects that we're comparing. Paragraph 2 is subject number 2, and all the positives about subject number 2 and all the negatives about subject number 2. And then if you have a third paragraph or a third subject, you're going to tell all the positives about the subject number 3 and the negatives about subject number 3. This style gives all the positives and negatives of different subjects under a topic that covers all 3 subjects. Okay? So if we look at this, for example, comparing and contrasting dogs, lizards, and horses as pets. Okay, the topic is pets. And now we're going to compare and contrast 3 very different styles of pets, or 3 very different subjects of pets. Okay, so if we look at this again, okay, paragraph 1, we're going to write about the dog. Okay, and we're going to say positive things about the dog. That he's man's best friend. He's always waiting at the door whenever you get home. You may state that he can play with you. He can play fetch and different games with you. A negative you may state is that he lives in the house. Maybe you don't like animals in the house. Maybe you feel like they bring in dirt. Maybe you feel like they shed. So the fact that a dog living in the house may make that pet not so friendly to you. Another negative might be begs at the table for food, or steals food off the table when you're not looking. Now, I have 2 positives and 2 negatives there, but they do not need to be even. In your paragraph, you may have 3 positives and 1 negative. You may have 1 positive and 2 negatives. Okay, so it doesn't have to be even. You just need to have probably both positives and negatives for each subject. So let's look at the second subject. Second paragraph would be about the lizard. And again, I'll have 4 examples here, but they do not need to be even. A positive of having a lizard is that it lives in a cage, that it's quiet. A negative about having a lizard is that the cage needs cleaned, and that they aren't very cuddly. You're not going to curl up on the couch with your lizard and snuggle. So if that's what you're looking for, probably not the pet for you. And the last is a horse. Okay, and some positives about horses are they live outside. Okay, they're not going to be dragging dirt and hair in your house. A negative may be that they're expensive. Okay. A positive may be that they can, you can ride a horse for fun, so it can bring you enjoyment. And a negative may be that it needs a barn. So if you are looking for a pet and you're considering these three, if you don't have a barn, that sort of eliminates that one. So as you can see here, this way of organizing is when you have something that has a commonality but is also very different. These things have a commonality of all being pets, but they are very different pets. So that's why we organize them in the block pattern. All right. Some words to use when you're writing your compare and contrast paper are, I have compare and compare. I need to change that to compare and contrast. So the word on the right hand there should be contrast. But when you look at and when you begin to write, some words that you want to try to use and familiarize yourself with is when comparing things, you can say the word same, similar, similar to, similarly, also, to, as well as, likewise, both. You could say likewise, the horse does not, shed, and as neither does the lizard. So you could say something, comparing those and saying that's alike or that's likewise. When you contrast things, again, sorry about that typo there, you can use the word but, however. A dog may shed in your house. However, even though a lizard will not shed in your house, even though it lives in your house. So there we use the word however and even though at the very bottom. While, on the other hand, different, difference, differently, like, although, even though. All of these are words that you should really try to incorporate into your writing, and it will actually help you along as you write, and it will help your paragraphs and things flow better. So I will fix that compare to make it say contrast, and I will have that for you, this page for you to print out to have when you're writing to use as reference. So if you look at this page is one of your homework assignments for the week. And if you are going to do point by point pattern, okay, you're going to have to choose whether or not what you're comparing and contrasting should be, whether you want to organize it in a point by point pattern or whether you want to organize it in a block pattern. So you won't need to do both pages. You just need to do one or the other. On both of them, however, there is a section for you to write your introductory paragraph with your topic sentence, detail sentence or two, and a conclusion or a thesis sentence, okay? So I want you to write that introductory paragraph, and then I want you to go ahead and put down your ideas for your other paragraphs. And in this case, the point by point, you'll pick 2 or 3 topics and then write some kind of bulleted ideas there. If you see my examples, I'm not asking you to write full sentences on this page other than the introductory paragraph. You don't need to write full sentences. Just, plays fetch, loses leaves, stays warm 12 hours. Just a word or 2 or 3 to spark your brain when you go to the next page to actually write out the full paragraph. Okay? And you may not need paragraph 3 if you are only comparing 2 topics here. So I definitely want at least 2 paragraphs. So if you don't use that last section, that's okay. Just do a really good job on the first 2. All right, this is the block pattern page. And if you choose block pattern, then you'll use this worksheet. Again, you're not going to use both worksheets. You're just going to use one or the other. Just like I said on the other page, I want you to write your introductory paragraph, and similar to the other page, you do not need to write full sentences. Okay, you're just going to write little blurbs or little bullet points there, 2 or 3 or 4 words at the most underneath each subject. So here you're going to have a subject and the pros and cons, or the pluses and the minuses of each subject. Then your second subject and the pluses and minuses, and the third subject and the benefits and negatives to that subject as well. As with the last page, if you're only comparing two things, if you're only comparing two subjects, you only have two paragraphs. Just make sure they're good paragraphs. Okay? As I said a minute ago, at this point, once I have looked over that paper for you, I want you to go ahead then and build your paragraphs. So make sure that you get your feedback from the previous worksheet before you go on to this worksheet. And I will make every effort to check it every day, a couple of times, to get your feedback to you very quickly. But this page is where you build your paragraphs, and this is where you're going to need that printout of the compare and contrast words to help you along, help your flow, help your ideas, and those words will definitely help you get going. Okay? And you'll use those bullet points that you made on the last worksheet to build these paragraphs. You may not need this third paragraph again, okay? And the fourth thing this week is your conclusion paragraph. In your conclusion paragraph, you'll need a topic sentence, just like we did with our topic sentence toolbox. Okay, don't be afraid to go back and use some of those tools to help you get your topic sentences started, because you're kind of going to need a topic sentence for each paragraph. Then you're going to write a summary sentence or two, and in the summary sentences, if you did point by point, you're going to touch on each topic. Okay, and so if we think back about the point by point, that was the bathroom training, the personality of the dog and cat, cleanliness of the dog and cat. So you're going to touch on those topics. Okay, you're just going to kind of restate those topics. If you did a block pattern, you want to touch on each subject. In other words, you're going to touch on the fact that we talked about a dog, we talked about a lizard, we talked about a horse. Okay, so you're going to kind of put that into a nice sentence. Whether you an example of that might be when you're looking for different kinds of pets, consider a dog, a lizard, or a horse. They are very different, but one is sure to meet your needs. That would be stating the three subjects, and again here in the conclusion. So then there's a sentence called the evaluation sentence in your conclusion paragraph, and this can be where you analyze your points. You may even give advice, and I have where I can give you I can guide you with this once I know your topic. So once we start having some interaction back and forth with the other assignments, I can guide you along with this depending upon your topic, because this really is something that kind of need your topic in order to guide you through this. And then I just need a clever conclusion to your whole paper. So don't be afraid to pull out your clever conclusion page from last week. So this is the conclusion paragraph. And to review what our assignments are for the week, and these will also be listed in OutSchool. Your assignment 1, I just need you to choose your topic. So it would be a good thing to do just kind of almost as soon as the video is over. Think about it, choose your topic, get right on, and submit it to me. Assignment 2, I need you to print out and do either the point by point or the block pattern worksheet, one or the other. Okay, if you want to print them both out just to have them on hand for future reference, that's fine, but I only need one or the other. Your assignment number 3, you're going to build those paragraphs that you put bullet points on that last worksheet. Okay. Assignment number 4 is the conclusion paragraph page. And then at the very end of the week, I would like, once you've gotten all of your feedback from me, I'd like you to take it and put it all together in one compare and contrast paper. And towards the end of the week, I will even upload for you the rubric that I will use to grade your assignment number 5. Okay? So if you have any questions, let me know. There's a lot in this video, so I would encourage you at any point to go back and re-watch the video so that you can really grasp what you're doing while you're doing it. So if you're doing the point-by-point worksheet or the block pattern worksheet, go ahead and go back and watch that section of the video. If you're doing your conclusion paragraph, go back and watch that portion of this video. Feel free to go back and watch the video as many times as you need, and if you have any questions, be sure to let me know.